and I was just having a little jam there for a moment. We're like, yes.
I also looked on the thing. I'm not going to talk about spiritual practice. I'm going to talk about spiritual business.
Yes, business. It's their practical business.
Practical
Practice.
business.
Spiritual practical.
Oh my God, look who's here. I mean,
Let's G and Steph and Yolanda and Sheila. Hey, Sheila.
Yolanda. I like saying that name.
Michelle. Yolanda. I love saying how you say Michelle to everybody. Michelle. Cindy and Rose. Hi, Rose. Rose was at CYL in Scottsdale with me. Hi, Sandy. And there she is, Emmy.
Rachel is here. Rachel. Rachel, your name is Rachel in Hebrew. Just in case you wanted to know. Rachel.
Okay.
It's a great Hebrew name. Chrissy and Michelle and Desiree and Karen and Michelle Buckley and
Sarah all the way from the UK to come and see you. Hey, Ronnie. And yes, I know. And Joy and Priscilla. Hello, Priscilla. Priscilla has all the info, right? Priscilla, you got all of Liz's contacts, right? Good. Amy and Marie and Dee and Cindy. Nice to see everybody. Charmin. So good to see you, Charmin. And Jeremy and Amber and Chrissy and Michelle and Nita, all the way from my hometown of Chicago. Debbie. Hello, Debbie.
You have to read Rachel's comment about her name. Okay. This is hilarious. She was named after her father's first Jewish girl. Wait a second. Girlfriend he wasn't allowed to marry.
You're kidding.
I can't believe your mother allowed him to name you after an ex-girlfriend.
Hi, Cheryl. Good to see you all the way from Florida. Rachel was named after her father.
Wait a second. Janet. We have to put Janet. Janet, I have actually been meaning to email you because you emailed a feedback form from CYL Scottsdale, and I had to explain the difference between a retreat and a conference. But Janet, I actually thought you knew that, the difference between a CYL retreat and a conference. Janet, you've been to both. Anyway.
In Sedona. We met in Sedona.
I love that.
Hi, Margie. Good to see you. And Gladys. Welcome, everybody. Come on in. I'm going to go really fast. Kim and Susan, Jeanette, Paula, Angel, another Michelle, Priscilla. Good. Yes, I do. Good. Kim and Joanne and Cindy. Yes, it's like Romper Room.
It's Romper Room.
Your Stumper Boom.
Really? Wait a second. You're dating yourself if you remember Romper Room.
You are. Totally.
I remember Romper Room. Diana's here and Stephanie's here.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you so much.
Second medium, Lee Walzak. Oh, wait a second.
Lee Walzak. Hi, Lee.
I know Lee. Hi, Lee.
Yes. And Nita, good to see you. Aria from Chicago, good to see you.
Me too. Oh my God, friend, maybe we'll talk. So Aria was named after her father's ex-girlfriend? No.
Good to see you, my friend.
Old girlfriend too. So was Nita. Oh my God. And the women let them do that. That's hilarious.
Yeah, Rhonda, they never called my name either. They would never say Elias. Never. Please.
Yeah. I never got Elizabeth. Well, Elizabeth is really with an S. That's what.
Yes.
That's my name, Elizabeth with an S.
Well, thank you, everybody, for being here. If you don't know Liz Dawn is the CEO and co-founder of Mishka Productions and Celebrate Your Life events. She has been in business for over 27 years. And I have to say that she is the only female producer in her field. Is that correct?
Well, no. Well, no.
Please correct me.
Okay, ready?
Yes.
I just found this out. Are you guys ready for this? This is a super long thing.
Go for it.
I am Mishka Productions and Celebrate Your Life events. Are you ready for this? So we just found out that we are the longest running spiritual event production company in the United States, standalone, separate apart from from Omega Institute, which is a retreat center, standalone spiritual event production company, and we are female owned and operated.
Yay.
Cool.
Yay, yay, yay. Kim's
You
clapping.
know, like, how do I say that with less words? It's a lot of words.
It is a lot
right?
of
It's a lot of words.
Yes. Lisa's amazing. Hi, Kathleen. And
Amazing.
Laura Wooster's here.
Laura Worcester.
Awesome. Awesome. So
Mm.
Liz, we're talking about tonight, the theme for the month is create. And I thought you would be the best person here to talk about creating a spiritual practice and spiritual business. So tell everybody how you got started?
Okay. Go grab a cup of coffee or tea because this is a really long story.
It's a great one.
Story time with Liz Dawn. Okay, so I'm going to be, I don't know that I've really ever completely shared this in a Facebook Live or in a broadcast like this. I think I've shared this at my events, and I think my story might be online somewhere. But, and I apologize if I'm repeating myself, although Rachel, you may or may not know this. I was one of those people who you would kind of least suspect to have the discipline to own their own business, and to not only own their own business, but to be a success at it, and to have the discipline and commitment. I was not that student. I was not that kid. I was not that person. I come from a pretty interesting, messy background, and pushed my way through college. And I was slated to, I really, really, really wanted to be an actress. And I was for the first, I don't know, maybe 12 years of my career life, if you will. I did a lot of regional theater, traveled around the country, etc. But if I knew then what I knew now, I wouldn't be sitting here. I would be a famous movie star. Not because of me being like wicked talented or anything like that. Which I was pretty talented as an actress. But because what I learned when I started Mishka Productions taught me how to promote myself, not really promote myself, but how to promote a business, how to do my own PR, how to do my own marketing. I have no business background, you guys. I never went to business school. I have no business background when I started Mishka Productions. And it actually fell in my lap. I had no intentions of ever being a business owner. I didn't even know how to take credit cards. I started my business when I was 34. And this is before we had all the vernacular with entrepreneurs and women business owners and all these empowering things that we have now. We just didn't, that wasn't there. This was 1995. And it really came about kind of interesting. So throughout the chaos in my life and throughout the drama in my life, actually, this was born. I was living in Los Angeles, and I was pursuing my career as an actress. I was not very successful at it in LA. LA's tough, and it was a tough market for me, especially. I was not accustomed to the Hollywood industry. It definitely was a much harder scene than doing regional theater. So I was in a really shitty relationship. I was 28, 29 years old, and my life started to kind of really take a downward turn. No, it wasn't until, no, I shouldn't say, it's probably more like 30. I was around 30, and I'm in this relationship, and it's pretty emotionally abusive and manipulative, extremely manipulative, but I didn't know this was the cause of this. And I started to develop pretty severe panic attacks and anxiety to the point where I couldn't eat. Mm-hmm. And so then it turned into an eating disorder. And I, I've been on both sides of the spectrum with eating disorders in my life. When I was younger and in college and all this other, and that's a whole other story. I was a binger and overeater and blew up. And then it went to the opposite extreme where I was barely 100 pounds at this point in my life. And I'm a young woman, I'm 30 years old. And I tried to get some help. They wanted to put me on medication. And listen, if I could have taken medication, I could have eaten. So that wasn't happening. And I was in and out of therapy. They wanted to put me in a hospital and I refused to go. And so I finally emancipated myself from this relationship and started to get a little bit somewhat healthy again, but I was really struggling, and I was struggling with my career. So I had taken a job. You're all going to love this. I had taken a job at a place. If any of you live in LA, you'll know this. It's a place called Park La Brea. It's in the Fairfax district, right around Wilshire, right near the La Brea tar pits. And I took a job at this place called Park La Brea, and it was a 4,200 unit townhouse community right down the street from, the Fairfax market. So I was like entrenched in the Jewish district. And of course I'm Jewish, and all these, what we call them as altakakas, all the older Jewish people just adored me. And I was the activities director. So I was kind of like Julie on the Love Boat. And I had this massive, and in between, I'm going to auditions and I'm taking my acting classes, etc. And I had a pretty flexible schedule. So it's kind of like Julie on the Love Boat, and I'm writing newsletters to all the residents. And I think we were on like 200 acres or something massive like that, right in the middle of LA. And I was throwing parties and doing all these like wild things. But here I am, like desperately trying to get myself, my mental and emotional health back and stable, and it just wasn't working. And my mom finally turned to me and she said, why don't you come to Arizona? She was living here in Arizona. And for those of you who haven't heard about my mom, Ariel, she was definitely, somebody wrote the term trailblazer. Rachel did, trailblazer. She's a trailblazer. She was a classical pianist turned psychotherapist turned NLP practitioner turned sound healer, clairvoyant. Like she and Casey Miller, if any of you know Casey Miller, she and my mom were like the first people in Arizona doing this kind of like psychic woo-woo wild work back in the 80s with crystals and all kinds of stuff. So she said to me, why don't you come and be with me for a little bit? And I was in debt and I was exhausted, and I mean, I was so fucking thin, you guys. When I look back on pictures of myself, I feel so, my heart hurts for that young woman. And so I went and stayed with her, and I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. And I started to feel a little bit better. I worked with a therapist. I was in the therapist office for like 2 or 3 times a week. And I found a process that pretty much saved my life. If any of you know who Margaret Paul is, Margaret Paul's process is all that inner child work and healing the wounded inner child. And even though I'd done work like that, we really got to the core of what was going on and all the abandonment and all the father stuff. My mom was married 3 times, and one man was worse than the next, and all that kind of fun drama. So I had to undo a lot of that emotional and physical trauma that had happened. And in the meantime, my mom and I had some things to work out, and she and I went to therapy together. So, God, I'm getting so personal here. But out of this, I don't know what I want to cry, but out of this chaos, out of this trauma drama, out of this place where I could barely eat and was learning how to deal with the panic attacks and the anxiety. And I refused to take medication. And yes, I probably should have been on medication, you guys. I do believe there's a place for that. But I couldn't. I wouldn't do it. But out of this painful place, I started to question my path, and I was auditioning for things. And I kind of had a little bit of a chip on my shoulder because I was a seasoned actress. I had done, some reputable theater work and a little bit of commercial work, had a great agent in LA. And so I started to audition for some of the rep companies, and I was not getting any work. And so my ego's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And I'm like, what am I going to do with my life here? Like, this is the only thing I know how to do besides waitressing. I was a good waitress, or bartend. And I was a lousy cocktail waitress, though. I used to spill drinks on people all the time. Someone would take something off the tray and it would go flying. So my mom said to me one day, a friend of mine owns a spiritual bookstore in downtown Phoenix, and she needs some customer service help. I said, okay, all right. My mom was encouraging me, you just need to get your energy moving. You just need to do something. In the meantime, I am living with her in her little 2-bedroom townhouse in her office, and I'm sleeping on her pull-out sofa in her office. I don't have any money to get an apartment. I had credit card debt that I had to pay off. So it was in not a great place, but I'm working on myself. I'm healing. And so I went to work for $4.50 an hour in this bookstore. And the woman came to me and said, I just met this man who, I don't know, maybe I was like a year or so, maybe less than a year or so in this. And I'm still pretty dysfunctional. I'm still dealing with a lot of stuff. And she came to me and said, there's this man that I met, and he wrote a book, and he's been handing it out from the back of his car. I read the book, and I think it's going to be a smashing success. And I know that you have event experience, and I would like for you to put this event together. I said, well, okay, sure, why not? So I took the book home, and I'm not a fast reader. It's funny. I work with writers, and I read like molasses. And I took the book home, and I read it overnight because I could not put it down. It was so fantastic. Well, the book was The Celestine Prophecy by James Redfield. And it was just on the precipice of him signing a deal. At the time, Time Warner was the big publishing company. And so Time Warner was just signing $1 million deal with James Redfield when we called him and said, hey, we want you to come to Arizona and do an event, right? So we did the event. And now, by the time the event rolled around, he had hit the New York Times bestseller list and was #1 on the New York Times bestseller list. So he and his wife, Sally, came to Arizona. In the meantime, my mom, so one of the things my mom did was in the summertime, because she was also a teacher, in the summertime, to put food on the table for us kids, she was the director of, Rachel knows this. She was the director of an 8-week summer camp in Connecticut on Gardner Lake. And so I grew up in camp, but my mother had these amazing organizational skills because she had to organize 200 campers and counselors, their schedule for 8 weeks of this one goes here and that one goes here, and this counselor has to be with this bunk and this one has to do this. So she was like a wicked, amazing organizer. So back to this event, my mom helped me organize. I was like, well, I can't wrap my head around how are we going to get the people tickets? I knew how to throw the party. I knew how to get publicity. I knew how to sell tickets. I knew how to do all of that. But what I didn't know is how are we going to organize this shit? So my mom helped me with that. Well, we had standing room only. I'll never forget it. We were in a big tent, and we had 1,600 people. The conference services manager at the hotel kept saying, stop letting people in, stop. And people were begging me. They were like, please, they were handing me like $10 bills and saying to me, please just let me stand it back. And so we had this massive swarm of people, and everyone loved it. I mean, there just wasn't a dry eye in the house. Celestine Prophecy, the Celestine Prophecy. Oh, that's right. Rachel, feel like you just did something with that. Anyway, so it was a smashing success. And then I went back to work at the bookstore then, that next week, and we did another small event with James Wanless, who did the Wanderer's Tarot. And then I got a phone call, and then I stopped working at the bookstore. And then I got a phone call from Sally Redfield. Now, I'm not thinking I have a business. I'm not thinking anything at this point. I'm thinking I did this event. It was really great. And okay, I loved it because I loved everybody in the space, the community, the that love, that connection, that how it is when you're with your tribe. And I got a call and I'm so sorry. I'm just talking and talking. Elias, am I
You're
boring?
good. You're good.
Am I boring? Am I boring?
No.
Okay. Because when people talk and like you don't want to be rude, but they're really boring. All right. So then Sally called me. And so during this event, my mom and Sally and I, we were like schmoozing and became kind of little friends, right? And so Sally, James's wife, just then published the Celestine Meditations. And so she wanted to do an event. And so she called me and said, Liz, I want to do an event. And again, I'm still in chaos, you guys. I'm living in my mom's office. I still, I have some money, but I'm still, Susan's hanging on the edge of her seat. Susan, you've heard this before. So I'm still, a little mashugana. I'm still working on healing myself. I'm still not up to any kind of weight that would be healthy. But Sally called me and said, hey, I want to do an event. And I said, okay, well, I don't know what I'm doing. She said, well, yeah, you could do this. And I said, well, no, I don't know. I don't know how to do this. I said, but let me get back to you. Guys, this is pre-cell phones. I just want you to remember that, pre-cell phones. So I go to my mom and I said, well, Sally wants me to do an event for her. And my mom said to me, you know what? I'm going to loan you, and I'll never forget this. She said, I'm going to loan you $1,500. We can set up, we had this old IKEA, it wasn't even IKEA. I don't think IKEA was around. I don't know. But this old white desk we put in the corner of her dining room. We set up a phone line. By the way, I still have that same phone number for our Mishka Productions office to this day. So we set up a phone line, and I had this rinky-dink desk. And I said yes to Sally. I said, okay, I'll go book a place for like 300 people. And we'll go and do this. So I was going to place an ad in the local newspaper. It was called the Scottsdale Progress. And I went to go place an ad in the newspaper. Now, this is pre-email, people. Not so much in the email thing yet. This is 95. So maybe a little email. We did have email because I remember I was using my mom's DOS computer, with the big discs, right? Those big floppy disks. So I go to place an ad in the newspaper, and the man says to me, well, what's the name of your company? Because you have to have somebody presenting this. And I said, company? I said, let me get back to you. So my last name is Dawn, and everybody said, oh, name it New Dawn Productions or New Dawn Events or something. And I thought, well, that's pretentious because I'm it. There's nobody else here. Like, it's me in the chair. Well, at the time, we just lost our dog, Mishka, our family dog, Mishka. She was this beautiful white wolf husky mix. And so her name was Mishka. And a friend of mine said, well, why don't you call it Mishka Productions? I was like, okay. I didn't know, excuse my French, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. There was no business. I was it. Like, there's no person here. There's no company here. So I called back and I said, our name of our company is Mishka Productions. Like, I know what I was really doing. I had no idea what I was doing. There was no LLC. There was no corporation papers. There was nothing. Here's a name. Put it on the ad. So he created the ad, and he created the ad with a little moon and stars. And I thought, oh, that's pretty. That's a nice little logo. 27 years later, I'm still using that. Oh, Conde, it's fine. Everybody does that because my middle name, my last name is Dawn, but it used to be my middle name. Anyway, I'll explain that to you in a minute. Anyway, so there I am, and we did the event, and 300 people showed up, and it was standing room only. And so yeah, that's how it started. And from that point, then I got a phone call from this woman who wanted me to do a fundraiser for a women's shelter. And we brought in Lindsay Wagner, and we did psychic readings, and we did all this fun stuff. And then I got a phone call from someone. Okay, who's going to know this name? Who knows the name Carlos Castaneda? Journey to Ixtapan. All of those magical books that he wrote. Anyone know Carlos Castaneda? This is also going to date most of you. Laura Wooster, you must know who Carlos Castaneda is. Carlos Castaneda was wicked, wicked, wicked famous back in the 60s and the 70s. And so Carlos Castaneda wrote all these very wild, amazing spiritual books about his spiritual journeys with peyote and his teacher, Don Juan, and going into other dimensions. So it was the first time Carlos Castaneda was going out there and teaching in person. No one knew what he looked like. No one knew what Carlos Castaneda looked like because he'd never ever had his picture taken for his books. And again, one of the big publisher companies at the time was HarperCollins. HarperCollins and Time Warner were the two big names in the spiritual book publishing industry, right? So Carlos Castaneda's organization, I called them and I said, "Hey, would you like to do an event in Arizona?" Honest to God, I was so naive. I'm like 36 years old. Hi, my name is Liz, and I do events. Would you like to? This is Carlos Castaneda, people. I mean, he's world renowned. So his person calls me back, this woman, Kylie Lindahl, I'll never forget her. Kylie calls me back and said, "Yeah, so Carlos has checked out your energy." Now, Carlos had never worked with anyone except for his organization called Clear Green. He's like, "Yep, Carlos wants to work with you." I was like, "Okay." Well, okay, so I don't even know how to take credit card orders. This woman, Kylie, talked me through filling out an application. I mean, I have no idea why. I have no idea why they did this, but they taught me how to fill out for credit card applications, and to take credit cards over the phone. And so we set this thing up, and again, standing room only. It was this big ballroom, and we did this amazing weekend event. People flew in from all over the world. It was my first experience with something like this. I looked at my mom and I was like, "Holy shit, this is kind of amazing." So my mom kind of was helping me a lot. And then at that point, we she stopped her day gig, her psychotherapy and sound healing practice, and the two of us started working together. And then we just started getting phone calls from publishing companies asking us to bring them, like Daniel Brinkley and Brian Weiss and great story, how I met Wayne Dyer. Wayne Dyer, I didn't know who Wayne Dyer was because my introduction to spirituality was through Ram Dass and all, like Stephen Levine and all this meditation stuff. And so the phone rang one day and I was in my apartment. Oh, by this point I got an apartment. I was able to get a 2-bedroom apartment, and my mom was in her place down the street. But she was over at my apartment for some reason. The phone rang and we said, "Mishka Productions." And she covers the phone receiver and she said, "It's Wayne Dyer, and he wants to talk to somebody who's actually met Carlos Castaneda in person." And I was like, "Who's Wayne Dyer?" My mother says to me, "He's really, really big." That's all she said. "He's really, really big." Well, I have no idea who Wayne Dyer is. And I get on the phone and said, "Hi, this is Wayne Dyer." And I said, "Oh, hi, I'm Liz Dawn." Like, who the fuck are you? Right? And of course, I got that this was somebody big just by the way he was talking. And he said, "I'm with the same publishing company. I've always wanted to meet Carlos Castaneda. Really love to come to your event," because we were doing another event with Carlos Castaneda in Seattle. And he and his wife wanted to come and meet Carlos in person. And he was asking me all these questions about Carlos and, all these things. At that time, I'd only met Carlos in person. My mother hadn't met him yet. So yeah, so that's how it started. That's really how it started. And then in 2000, so we did one event a month from 95 until 2002. And then 2002 in November, we created what we now call the Celebrate Your Life Conference. So we would do one event a month, like an event. And of course, that's how I met Wayne Dyer. And then Wayne Dyer came and spoke for us. And this one came. So this is how it all unfolded. And now I'm feeling stuck of what to say. I guess what I want to share is sometimes out of the chaos in your life and the drama out of your life comes these beautiful miracles unfold. I never thought that there would be anything that I would love as much as acting. And if you've ever met me and been to an event with me, you know that I fucking love what I do. I love and I hope nobody's offended. I speak New York. Even though I live in Arizona now. Michigas comes from clarity. Yes! From Michigas comes clarity. So I just want, like, how many of you here own your own business or you're a spiritual practitioner? You do some kind of practice, or you're looking to get your business out there? Anyone? I speak it fluently too. I love this. Thank you guys. But here's the deal. I did heal from the eating disorder and the panic disorder. I did heal from that. Thank God. And I guess what I want to say is that, if you have a desire, if you have a dream to create something, and the universe and your body and your knowingness and intuition and all of that is really moving you and nudging you in that direction, please do it. I know that there's more spiritual teachers out there and light workers out there in the world now more than ever. And it's really needed. All of your voices are so needed and necessary. Whatever business it is that you are seeking to do or doing with your life, or have that urge. Everybody's talking about it. Me saying fuck. Okay. I love it. So energy healing for animals and animal communication, Emmy does. Elias and I were talking earlier. Elias, I will give you a chance to talk. I'm sorry.
Hey, look, Liz, 91 people are listening to you.
91 bottles of beer on the wall, 91 bottles of beer. Yeah, take one down, you pass it around. Okay, sorry.
They're used to this from me. It's okay. They're used to me breaking out in song. It's all good.
So here's the deal. We've all been called the weirdo. We've all been called the strange one. I still get it from my family. My mom now, by the way, my mom and I partnered in our business together for 15 years until she transitioned into spirit. Still mad at her for that. I'm kidding, you guys. What was I saying? Oh yeah, we've all been called. I mean, still to this day, and my uncle, I love my Uncle Mike, and he's very, they're very conservative Jewish family from Philadelphia. There you go, right? And he said something to me just recently. I said, 27 years in business, you're still giving me shit about this? And he looked at me and said, touche, you're right. Like, really? Come on. What I do is viable. I love it. People love it. What the hell? Right? Stop it already. Just stop it, people. with your what is the word? Judgments, right? Okay. So what I would like to do, Danielle Jane, you can adopt me. I could use more friends and family, by the way. Any of you live in Arizona, I could absolutely use more friends. Susan, where is Susan Nichols here? Somebody said Something about, oh, we should go to lunch. Okay. Anyway, so I want to look through and see exactly what you're doing. Cindy Stevens, I did, but ex-husband said kids or business. My throat chakra should never be blocked to that. Energy healing for animals and animals. Okay, he just gave me the divine shivers. Good. Okay, good. The moment someone, okay, all right. Hey, on both platforms, sending support. I love the creative message. Yeah, I want to find like what you're doing. And I actually, okay, I'm in a chaotic moment and just started doing handmade crystal. I want to answer questions. If you have any questions about business, if you have any questions about marketing, if you have any questions about gaining followers, if you have any questions, ask away. I don't know if I'll have the answers, but but I liked that one. I am in a chaotic moment and just started doing handmade crystal bracelets and selling crystals. I know I've been selling some crystals too lately because I lost my crystal guy because he retired. I feel called to doing intuitive work. You feel called to doing it. Start it. Start it. How do we start it? We start it by doing some readings for friends and family, for people who really, really, really want it. Okay. And you start to do a little teaching. You start to build it, and then you charge a little bit for it, maybe 10, 15, 20, $20. And you ask people then to give you some feedback, some written feedback, some testimonials. You start putting those on your Facebook page, on your Instagram page, on your, what is it called? TikTok pages. Yeah. So this is how you build. If you're not doing it full time and you want to gently move into it, just start getting the word out there in the community. Finding sea whale sulfates. Oh, Rachel, I love that. TikTok helped me find Elias, and I'm so happy for that. Excellent. Elias is amazing. Did you guys know that Elias was the Celebrate Your Life speaker winner for a speaker program that I taught? Out of all of these people, we chose him to be the winner of the Celebrate Your Life speaking program, and he actually got to speak on stage live at our Celebrate Your Life Sedona retreat. Yeah. You know what? I forgot to tell everybody what, let me just tell you really quickly. So what we do now in 2023 is we do online events. We also do live conferences. Conference is different than a retreat. Retreat is a more exclusive, inclusive in terms of meals are included, activities are included, all these fun things are included, opening ceremonies included, dance parties included in our retreats. Our conferences are larger platforms, a little bit less expensive, and we have a bunch of speakers. So what we're really, really known for is bringing together the greatest spiritual teachers in the country together in one place at one time under one roof. So our Celebrate Your Life events, our larger conferences will have anywhere from 15 to 25 speakers where you're doing workshops and breakout sessions for an entire 4 days at whatever location we choose. Our retreats are more, and Danette, here's the difference. So our retreats, we always start with an opening ceremony. We always have a dance party. They're a lot smaller. Our bigger conferences are anywhere from 1,000 to 1,200 people pre-pandemic. Our retreats are anywhere from, we limit it to 300 people. And actually, we have got one coming up in August that we're limiting probably just to about 225. So I'm just letting you know kind of what we do. We do all kinds of other events. We've got a fantastic schedule coming up this year in 2023. I'm actually going to be, I've been asked to partner. I don't want to say who it is yet because I don't know if I'm supposed to announce it or yet because we probably won't announce it till March. But here's the teaser. Lolly, lolly, lolly. Super excited about this. I've been asked to partner with a very, 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 very well-known spiritual teacher, very well-known, to teach a spiritual entrepreneurs course. So I'll be teaching all about marketing and PR and how to get your message out there and branding. And she's wicked amazing about she is going to teach the part about the media and how to present for the media. I'm going to be doing the event part and the marketing part and all that kind of juicy stuff. So I'm kind of excited about that. If you're interested in it, you can just message me on where where are we? Facebook, and I'll make sure that you're on the list to get information. We'll teach a free workshop first so you can get an idea of what we'll be doing.
And
Okay.
Liz, you can let me know and I'll post it as well.
Okay. Okay.
Stephanie says, love your story. Jennifer, oh, thanks, Jennifer. Thank you. Finding Elias has changed my life. Thank you. Rachel has a question.
It was horribly stressful, very stressful, Michelle. She's finding her calling now. Excellent, Michelle. There's a sadness in leaving the an acting entertainment career and moving into something else. I was deeply depressed for quite some time. Danette is teaching people how to follow their own internal guidance. Excellent. Okay, I'm going to come to the question. Okay, as you find your voice and start to step into success, you can trigger others. How do you stay confident and continue your path? All right, give me more information. Why are you triggering other people? Are they triggered because they don't understand your message, or are they getting triggered? Give me more info, Rach.
Stephanie wants to know, where are the events?
Where are the events? The events are all over the country. We do them in Arizona. We're also doing our August event in Washington, right near Elias. Elias moved to Washington because he attended one of our retreats there and loved it so much. So the one I would recommend attending is our Celebrate Your Life Skamania retreat, and that's going to be on August 4th through the 7th. On my birthday, we're going to have a birthday dance. I know, we're going to have a birthday dance. And that's going to be a blast. We haven't announced it. I've kind of just little bit announced it in our newsletter. But Stephanie, if you message me on Facebook, I can make sure that I put you into our newsletter so you can get notifications about it. Okay, did Rachel answer us? Thank you. Yeah, make sure if you are starting this career, follow your guidance. Do it. We need more light workers and messages out in the world, people. Trust me. You really, absolutely. Oh, okay, here we go, Rach. When you become more confident, people accuse you of changing or coming from the ego when you have to implement stronger boundaries. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How do I deal with that? You just can lovingly speak your truth. And say, I am changing and growing, and my intention is to change and grow. And my intention is to change and grow in this direction of this is my desire, and I'm intentionally changing. And I completely understand if the work that I'm doing or who I am now doesn't resonate for you. And I'm so sorry. I don't want to lose your friendship. And let's see if we can figure out a way to heal this. I think honest communication.
Yep.
I'm one for. I sit on the mat with people when shit hits the fan. I got to tell you, I don't let things go by me. I ask for a conversation, and this happened to me just recently. But the person refused to have a conversation. So sadly, there's nothing I can do about that. We unfortunately have to move in a different direction, and it hurts. It hurts me very much. And it's okay if they accuse you of coming from your ego or other areas. You're the one that gets to go inside and say, okay, does this hold truth for me? Am I coming from my ego? Were there areas and if it's coming from somebody that you trust, Rachel, if it's coming from someone, like if Elias said that to me, I would trust that, okay, all right, what's going on? Where do I need to check in with myself? Where do I need to clean that up? Or if it was like Kira who said that to me, or any one of my team members, I would trust that, okay, something's going on. What do I need to check out? But if it's somebody who doesn't know me that well, because somebody just recently did something to me, I've met this woman maybe 6 or 7 times in the 13 years that I've known she's existed, and she's known I'd existed. And I was like, well, you don't know me very well. So, you kind of take these things with a grain of salt. The more visible you become, um, the more vulnerable you do become for some criticism. And so, one of the things that I love about Byron Katie, you guys know who Byron Katie is. I love Byron Katie's work. She does the 4 questions, the 4 inquiry questions. And the first one is, do you know this to be true? So if you're with someone and they're accusing you of something, you could just gently say to them, do you really know this to be true? And then they say, well, yeah, you did this and that. And you can say, do you absolutely know 100%, 150%? Do you really know this to be true? And chances are what will come back to you is, well, no, I just felt this way. Well, feelings, guys, I want to give you a little bit of a wake up here. Feelings doesn't mean that something is true. Feelings do not mean that something is truth. It's a feeling. That does not mean it's truth. Just because I feel sad, is that the truth? Is that really the truth? That I'm feeling angry or sad? No, that's not really the truth. The truth is maybe I'm angry or sad because X, Y, and Z, or imagining this, or creating a whole drama in my head. So when you have situations, and I know that some of you are in communities, and sometimes communities get super sticky, you guys. You've got to really set boundaries. So I'm really glad I heard you say that, Rachel. You've got to set boundaries and pull back a little bit. Stay in your lane. Keep the communication to a very, very dull roar, meaning to 1 or 2 people you super, 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 super trust. Keep what I call the non-truths, we could call it gossip, to just only people you trust that you can just go to, right? And then keep your boundaries. Stay in your lane, keep your integrity, because people will start getting a little bit envious of where you're at. I've never, I guess it's happened to me, but I've never really been aware of it. But I know that people have spoken shit about me. I don't like it because I want everybody to love me because I'm a Leo. But it's a reality. Now everyone's not gonna love us and adore us.
So true. So true.
Still can't understand it though.
I can see why you love Liz. She's an amazing woman. Yes, she is. She
I'm
is.
a little weird. I know that.
No, you're good. Family
That's
first. Oh, yes.
needs.
Yes, yes, yes.
Celebrate your life events. Oh, you know what? Also go join our Soul Fest group. Liz, you become more confident. People accuse you of okay, we saw that coming from the ego. Consider the source, but also go inside and see if it holds any truth for you. You know how to be honest with yourself, Rachel. Oh, what else have we saying? It's the boundaries. People don't like when you don't bend to their needs any longer. So many people fell away from me when I started putting boundaries in place. And it doesn't mean that you have to be like, I'm setting a boundary. It can just be, this is what's resonating for me right now, and I'm sorry that doesn't work for you. I love you, I appreciate you, but I can't go out tonight and drink a half a keg of beer anymore. It just doesn't work for me. No, I'm making, I'm hoping that you guys are laughing through this too, because we do take these things so seriously, and I know we do, and it goes us into a place of heaviness. So I want to make sure when we're setting boundaries, it's just life. The way we used to be doesn't resonate for us anymore. You know what I mean? I mean, Elias, think about your life.
Right.
Right?
And it's been challenging, you guys. I mean, everything that has happened up to this point, it's a constant growth. It's a constant looking at trusting the process. Number one, you have to trust that process. Number two, how am I feeling? What am I seeing? Who was I a week ago? Who was I a year ago? And see your own progression and remain in your truth. Remain in your truth. It's that integrity, it's that authenticity. It is stating no one can ever say shit about you if you are true to you and you are clear about it and you're clean about it. That is the most important thing. In any of my classes that I've taught you guys, especially in the empowerment class, we are learning about switching that mindset and stop saying, being that people pleaser and going, I did and this happened. No, stand up for yourself, have respectful boundaries, and respect self. Those pieces of you are learning and growing. This is a muscle, guys. People pleasers unite. People pleasers unite. Because if you are in that spot, if you are an intuitive, number one, if you're an intuitive, an empath, a nurturer, wait for it, perfectionist, if you're that perfectionist, Brene Brown says we have perfection because we don't want other people to judge us. So if things bump up to us, see how that piece is a small mirror for you.
Right.
Why is this affecting me? What's happening? What's in it? And it is you guys, many of you, and I know many of you on here, we've been through workshops and everything. What Liz shares about her personal journey and seeing that, we're the odd ones. We're the odd ones out. I mean, you all
But
know.
we're not. But we're not. I'm going to interject here, you guys.
Yes.
I'm so sorry. Elias, you've spoke for 2 minutes, and here I go again. Andrea, thank you very much for posting all the 4 questions. Thank you.
Yes.
Or at least I think there's 3 of them there. Anyway, you're all light workers. You're all on a spiritual path. I call this is a spiritual journey. Would you all say that's true about yourself? And so being a light worker, whether you are out there teaching and someone said they work in healthcare, whether you're working in healthcare, whether you're working at an insurance company, whether you're sitting behind a desk, you are a light worker because you're on a spiritual journey. And so when the rest of the world is in fear, we stand up in courage. When the rest of the world is screaming and arguing and divisive, we stand in our hearts in a place of kindness and compassion. When everyone else is in lack and dealing with poverty consciousness, we give. Even if we have nothing to give, we give. So we are walking a very different path than the rest of the world might be walking. Remember that. When everyone else is in fear, you stand up and be courageous and brave. When everyone else is in their mishigas and their drama, you stand in kindness and compassion. When shit is hitting the fan, you are in gratitude and you are in love. And just remember that is the path of the spiritual warrior, the courageous spiritual warrior, as I call it, which all of you are because you're here. And you follow Elias and you hang with Elias. So I know you are. And it's not always an easy journey. And you walk with integrity. You walk with kindness, with gentleness. When everyone else is, wah! You be the example. You be that guy. You be that girl. You be that they. Right?
So true.
Yuppie duppie.
Cheryl says, I so wish I found y'all when I was 10-year-old bullied child with no self-esteem.
Yeah, I know. That's there's a beautiful movie I just watched the other night, and it's called Unsinkable. I don't know but it's all about how living through our past traumas, of course, and you all know this, and Elias, you teach this because this is part of your work. There's got to be a way to forgive and change our mindset and stop living through our past experiences. I just had so I still do a lot of work on myself, you guys. The work doesn't end. And I was with my my therapist the other day. She's so great. I love her. I love this process I've just learned. It's called internal family systems. Gabby Bernstein started to talk about it at the Scottsdale event. So I'm learning this new process, and it's so cool. And we're talking about different parts of ourselves and this trauma that happened to me when I was like 14 years old. And she said, and I still have these like oochinesses of fear from that stupid thing, right? I don't want to say stupid, from that incident. And I still carry it. And she said to me, she said, what would happen? And we've communicated with that part, and she's very scared and frightened and wounded, etc. And I doing a lot of dialogue. But she said, what would happen if you rewrote the story? And you've all heard this, and Elias, you must teach this as well,
Yeah.
about rewriting the story. What would happen? Who would you be if this trauma never happened? Oh, wow. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you be if that 10-year-old never got bullied? Who would you be if you didn't have low self-confidence because someone was a schmuck to you?
Right. Everyone is loving you, Liz. Thankful and grateful. Such special people in our lives love this, Liz. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Well, I never get to talk. It's always I'm interviewing people and they're always talking. So now I'm like taking over this whole thing.
It's all good. It's all good. Guys, I want to also tell you, because I want to honor Liz's time as well. If you went to celebrate your life, please go to an event. Also, truly, if you go to celebrate your life and you want more of Liz's teachings, go to the event page and you'll see Liz does an amazing class. You could buy it now online. Attract the love that you want. And
don't buy it now, because we just moved our process. Our process is over, and the purchase page is all messed up. But Andrea, I'm curious, did you find all of this on Byron Katie's website? That's so cool that you posted. She posted the 4 questions. You guys scroll through, look for Andrea Turner's posts, and make sure that that's it. Question 4, who would you be without the thought?
Yep.
Who would you be without that thought?
Did you see what Andrea said? Liz, we hear Elias all week.
I am feeling like very greedy.
No, you're good. You're good. And Liz, you've got Scamania coming up.
Yeah.
In August. And
here's some teasers. I've got something else coming up in June that's going to be live and in person with just one teacher. And I've asked Elias to come to Scamania to teach meditation. So Elias is going to be there. Maybe I don't know that he said yes to me yet, but I want him there. And then you did say yes. Okay, good. So Elias is going to be there. And what else can I tell you? Then we've got this thing coming up in March. Then I've got another online. I've got some really good stuff coming up. Best way, just go to Liz Dawn. Here's my, can I put a link?
Yeah, you can.
My personal Facebook page.
Priscilla,
did she post it? Yeah, you just send me a Facebook message and I'll make sure that it's Liz Dawn Donahue. My last name isn't Donahue, but I got married. When I was 49 years old for the first time ever. Okay, I was really 50, but I say 49 because I was just right there. I'd never been married before. It was my first marriage. Anyway, and only marriage. Anyway, so I throw Donahue in there because I'm proud that I figured out how to do that. Liz Dawn CYL. Is that it, Priscilla? That's my business page, maybe. Okay. Well, you'll find me. And you can always email at lizdawn@celebrateyourlife.com. There's my email address, lizdawn@celebrateyourlife.com, and say, hey, Liz, I heard you with Elias and I want to be on your email list, or I want to know about this class you talked about, and I'll send you the information because we just haven't posted anything yet.
And Liz, you have a poll coming up, don't you?
My poll. The poll is on, I posted a poll because I wanted to know what challenges business owners, spiritual entrepreneurs have. Like what are the top things that you have challenges with? And that's in if you do a search on Facebook for CYL, that's the acronym for Celebrate Your Life, CYL Online Soul Fest. Hey, where's the group? Can I post it? I don't think I can make a comment. But it's CYL Online Soul Fest. Go join that group. There's about 10,000 people in the group. Just go and join the group, CYL Online Soul Fest. And why are they joining the group?
For the poll.
Oh, for the poll. I'm drinking water, okay?
Cheers, everybody.
Thank you, menopause. That's the good excuse for everything. So if you go to the CYL Online Soulfest group, there's a poll there that I'm asking people to just take, just to help me better understand how I can serve when I'm teaching and what really works for people in terms of what your biggest struggles are with your businesses and how I can best support you. You guys didn't give me very hard questions.
Well, I want to say thank you for being here. And guys, remember tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Pacific time. That's 10 Mountain. That's Emmy time for you, Emmy.
What are we doing?
We're doing empowering and grounding the empath. So we're learning what is an empath, how to empower, and how to ground the empath. I'm going to show like really special, easy things like observe but don't absorb, blow it out, wash your hands, change your clothes when you come home from work, get the schmutz off, and go ahead and just start fresh.
So can I tell you something? Colette does this.
Oh, okay.
You guys know who Colette Baron Reed is. So I've been working with Colette for a really long time. Anyway, she does this all the time before, but when she goes out for crowds and then when she comes back. And you know what? Oh, I love Colette. And in addition to all of what Elias is going to teach you, Himalayan sea salt bath.
That's in there too.
Himalayan sea salt. Yeah. Oh, I love that. Elias, this is a super important class tomorrow. I'm going to see if I can be there. Is it here, just Facebook Live?
No, it's via Zoom. I can send you the link.
Okay, maybe I'll be there.
Okay, I'll send you the link.
It's tomorrow, Paula. It's tomorrow. I know Paula Grimack. It's tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Arizona time or Mountain.
11 Central, 12 noon Eastern. And then come back on here, Facebook and YouTube for Lisa Nolan Shalowski. So I met her at the CYL event in Sedona. Lisa is a master teacher with Lisa Williams, and we've been friends now ever since CYL. Guys, CYL brings together soul community. It is amazing. It is truly amazing.
We're the connectors.
Yes. And and that is what in John Holland's class, John Holland talks about your soul purpose. And honestly, guys, and you all know this. Why is it in my website? Connect, educate, and grow. My soul purpose is to be a connector for people, to bring great people on here, to have you guys just rev up that heart, open up that heart, and just shine. It's really important to own your truth and be in here. So, I
just want to say something about Elias, you guys. He is one of the most authentic, genuine, powerful teachers out there. He, from the moment, and one of the judges for the speaker winner was Denise Lynn. And Denise Lynn saw his video and said, this guy, he's got to win. He's amazing. He's so good. And she called me and said, he's so good. And he really works at his career. And it does take work. Oh, by the way, if I didn't say that, it does take tenacity. This didn't happen overnight for me. This took an insane amount of time and energy to get where I am right now with my career, guys. It took a lot of focus. The first 10 years of my life was devoted.
And she never gave up. And she never gave up, you guys. That's the piece.
Yeah, but you don't either. And that's you have that same tenacious drive. You have that same tenacious drive.
Oh,
that I had when I first started. Yeah.
thanks, Liz. And thank you. Haley just came to my retreat in Iowa. She said, I love how Elias is transparent, and his retreat helped me get out of the box that I put myself in. Mwah. Thanks, Haley.
I
That's
love
beautiful.
Elias. And can I tell you something about Elias? If you were to close your eyes and listen to his voice when he does a meditation, it is synonymous to Wayne Dyer's voice.
That is really a great, great, great compliment.
It's
Thank
got
you.
that like resonance. It's like, woo, it gives me.
That was the first thing Liz said to me. It was the first thing she said to me. Then she said, "Are you Jewish?" And I was like, "No, I'm Greek, but we have the same guilt." So
And he has
Sarah
that he has
is the
beautiful
goddess.
resonance.
Sarah, you're still up in the UK. Oh my goodness, she says you got to have grit.
Oh my God, look at her kittens.
So
I
cute.
love her
Well,
kittens.
Liz, thank you so much. Thank you so much. You guys, again, every Saturday through the end of March. Oh, and speaking of, remember, there are 4 spots left for the retreat in Ecuador. That's at the end of March. And there are now 6 spots left for the retreat in March in Madison, Virginia.
Wait a
So
second. You're doing 2 retreats in March.
yes,
Okay, this March 2023.
yes,
Okay, so there's one in Madison, Virginia,
yes.
which I've never heard of.
Finding your balance.
Finding Your Balance in Madison, Virginia. People
Yes.
go to eliaspatris.com. I'm going to be the promoter now. I'm going to be the promoter I know to be. eliaspatris.com for the Madison, Virginia event. What is the focus of that event,
The
Elias?
focus is about empowering self through healthy boundaries,
Oh,
worthiness, and self love. We're going to let go of old ancestral patterns. So, I'm going to do an exercise which is looking at your body map. We're actually going to trace your body and we're going to place certain words and things that we'll learn, and we're going to break through the old mold of your ancestral pattern. For example, let's say that you're a procrastinator. You're a procrastinator. Your mom's a procrastinator and your grandma's a procrastinator. We're going to break through that old ancestral blueprint that was given to you at birth.
wow. Wow.
Yep.
And what dates are those event? March.
March 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Okay, and then you're going to Ecuador.
Ecuador, March 22nd through the 29th. And that's a really good one. That's going to be, it's my first international retreat.
So proud of you. I'm so freaking proud of you.
And
Ever
that's
since
what
you've
the
been at
speaker program.
Celebrate Your Life, I got to tell you, ever since you've been at Celebrate Your Life to the speakers program, you've just really worked at your career and really done something because you really weren't doing all that much with your career at that point.
No, I wasn't, because you in that program said something so special. You you looked at all of us. You're like, land your airplane, land your airplane.
Land the freaking airplane.
That's what she said. That's what she said, you guys. She
I
said,
know.
yeah. And it really made me realize, like, what am I doing? What am I doing? And you said, you hold the microphone here. You like a microphone. You like to hold it here. You speak and you look right into the audience and you just tell your story. And I was so moved, Liz, by your story, and I was moved by everything I learned, and I met great people there. I hope you do that program again. It was phenomenal.
Well, we're doing a program, but it's going to be more, it's going to be a lot more intensive.
Okay.
We are doing a program. Okay, I guess I can say it. Lisa Williams has asked me to do this program with her. I was like, I fell off my chair. She called me one day and said, Liz, I am doing this business program and you must partner with me. And I said, why must I? And she said, you have 27 years of experience as a producer in this industry, as marketing yourself with no business background and figuring this shit out. Between the two of us, we have 60 years combined experience. But what you did, Elias, is that not because there are people that take a class, but they don't do anything with it.
Right.
But what Elias did is that he did something with it. He absolutely did something with it. And that's the key, you guys. You can't just take a class and then not work the processes. but you can see the results of what Elias has done when he's worked the processes. So, okay, that's it. The conversation's over.
All right, everyone. Again, thank you all for being here. Liz, thank you so much. Hold the phone though. Guys, remember, from truly my heart, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We are here to connect. And when we connect, we educate. And when we educate, we grow. There is unity in community. From our hearts to yours. Thanks, everybody. Have a beautiful night. And I'll see you in a little bit on TikTok for a little sassiness. All right.
TikTok.
Take care, everybody. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. I really appreciate you hanging with us. Thank you.
Be well.